In this lecture, we are going to update the functionality for password recovery. Currently, we have a system that allows the user to supply their email address. Once they have forgotten their password, they come to this form, enter their email, and then click on email me reset link. We intercept that in the script here. We grab the email address of the user, query it against our database to see if we can get a valid record. If we have a valid record, we get the ID of the user, encode it using base64, and then pass it as a query string to the email that will be sent into the user. One potential security loophole with this is that if someone has enough computing power to write a malicious script that can actually decode any base64 string that you use, then they'll be able to have access to the user's ID here, and then can potentially lock the user out of the system by updating the user's password. Although they won't be able to log into the user's account, but they'll be able to lock the user out of the system. So what we want to do is actually make this more secure. And the only way that we can make this more secured is by using time-based token. So I'm going to teach you how to create a token, set an expiring date for that token, and then pass the token along to this user. So if the user wants to recover their password, they're going to use that token and their email address to complete the form. And when they submit it, we're going to validate the token against our database, check if the time has expired. If the time has not expired, then we are going to allow the user to update their password. Okay, so let's get into the code. The first thing that we want to do is actually create a new table inside of our database. So currently we have two tables, trash and users. We're going to create one more table, and this table will be called password reset. We're going to have 4 columns. First one will be the ID, to be an integer, and then this is going to be the primary key. Then the next one will be the email of the user, should be voucher, set it 255. Then the next one will be the token, it's also going to be voucher, set this to 255. And then the last one will be the expiring time for the token, so say expired time. And then we're going to set this to timestamp, set it to null by default. All right, click on save to create the table. We now have a new table here called password resets, and the structure of the table is here. We have an ID, which is the primary key, email, which is going to be used to store the user's email address, and then the token that we're sending and the expire time for the token. Okay, so the next step now is to update the script. And then right here, what we now need to do is we can actually get rid of this, since we no longer want to pass the ID as a query string. So I can actually just remove all of this. So we're going to leave the link like this. And then here we are now going to generate a random string, and then also set the expiring time for that string that we're generating, and then store it into the database. So let's start by setting expire time. So we're going to say expire time is going to be equal to the PHP date function. We're going to pass it a format that we want: year, month, day, minutes, and then seconds. And then we're going to use the string to time function to add to this date. Actually, this is going to give us the current date and time, okay? But what we want to do is add to the current date and time. So let's say we want this token to expire in 1 hour time. So we can say string to time, then we say 1 hour. So this is going to add 1 hour to the current time. If you wanted to add this in minutes, let's say 30 minutes, so you can just say 30 minutes. So this will add 30 minutes to the current time, right? So we want to leave this as 1 hour. We want this token to expire after 1 hour, or if you want to go far, you can say after 1 day. For the purpose of this demonstration, we leave this to expire after 1 hour. Next, we are going to generate a random string. So we call this random underscore string should be equal to open SSL. We're going to use the exact same functionality that we use to generate our token for cross-site request forgery. Open SSL underscore random sudo byte. Let's set the length to 10. And then we are just going to pass this to base64 encode function. Alright, so we have the expire time and then we have the random string. There's one more thing that we need to do here. Usually when you generate a random string using OpenSSL underscore random sudo byte, there's going to be some special character most of the time. And we don't want to pass that special character along to the user. All we need to pass is just alphanumeric characters. So we are going to actually delete all the special characters that will be produced when we pass along the string. So let me just demonstrate this to you. I'm going to grab this and go to index. And in the index here, we are going to just create a new tag. And I'm just going to echo this out. All right, so let's refresh the index page. Okay, you can see here the string that is generated. There is a plus and then there's the equal sign. So what we want to do is be able to remove this special character and just leave only alphanumeric characters. All right, so let's go back. This is very simple to do. All we need to do is actually use preg replace in PHP. So we are going to grab this and say preg underscore replace. And then we specify the pattern that we want to replace in the string. So we want to replace all special characters. Start with this, and then inside of the square bracket, we are going to specify what we want, starting with a character, okay, A to Z, A to Z. So both big and small letter A to Z is accepted, 0 to 9 is accepted. If we have any other kind of character that we want to include, we just include them inside of here and they will be accepted. And then we are going to pass in the random string. So let's just move this to a new line. Okay, so this is our random string. Then we want to pass in the random string to this. This then becomes our reset token. Okay, so let's echo this and see what's the outcome. Unexpected echo on line 24. Okay, so let's see what that is. All right, we did not terminate this statement. Okay, let's do one more time, refresh. Preg replace expect at least 3 parameter to given. Oh, that's my mistake. So let's come here and just put an empty string, then do a refresh. All right, so now we are able to remove special characters from the random string. All right, so one more thing that I want to do with this token is make it all uppercase. So PHP has a function that allows us to do this easily. So we're going to say string to upper and then pass in the value that is returned from preg replace. And then let's do a refresh again. All right, so everything should be uppercase. Okay, so we are now able to move this to our password reset script. Right, so going to replace this. So we have a random string and then we remove all the special character from the random string, convert it to all uppercase, and then we have our reset token. So the next step now is to update the email that we are sending to the user. So right here, we are going to say their username to reset your login password. Now it is not going to be click as the first step. We want to say copy the token below and click. So copy the token below and click on the reset password link. Then paste the token in the token feed on the form. All right, so depending on how you want to write that out, but I'm just going to leave it like this. Inside of here, we are now going to add the token. Let's put a line break. And then here we are going to put the token. So token is going to be equal to reset token. And then let's put another line break and say this token will expire after 1 hour. Alright, so this will be equal to whatever time you decide to put here. If you put here 5 minutes, 1 day, so that should be what you specify here. And then I'm just going to update this to dev screencast and then update this. You can even use the date function here to make this dynamic, so you don't need to add code the year here. So we can say, just call the PHP date function, then pass it Y. Alright, so this way the year will be generated dynamically. Okay, so what else do we need to do? We need to actually store the token in the database. Okay, we actually skipped one step here. Alright, so right here, once we succeed in generating the token, we are going to create a query and then store the token inside of the database. Insert token is going to be equal to SQL query. So we're going to say insert into password underscore resets, and then we're going to specify the column names, email, token, and then expire underscore time. And then the values, we're going to use placeholders for the values. So the first one will be email, then the second one will be token, and then the third one will be the expire time. Alright, so next step, we're going to prepare this db, prepare, insert token, and then store that in a statement variable. So we're going to say token underscore statement, and then the final step will be to execute it. All right, so we're going to say token statement, execute, and then pass it an array of the values. First one will be the email, should be equal to the email that we grabbed from the form, because we have already validated against the database, it's valid. Then the next one will be the token, should be equal to the token that we just created, which is reset underscore token. And then the next one will be expire time. So this should be equal to expire time variable. Just a quick recap. We set the expire time to be 1 hour after when the user requests for the link, generate a random string, and then we replace all the special characters in the string and then convert it to all uppercase. Then we insert it into the database and then email the user. Pretty much basic. So we are now ready to test this out in the form. Going to come here, we can log in, forgot password. Okay, pass unexpected email body on line 149. All right, so let's try to debug and see what might be the issue. Line 149. Okay, so the problem is actually coming from here because we did not add a semicolon here. Right, so let's do a refresh. Okay, so now we are able to see the form. I'm going to type in my email here and then email me reset link. If the email is found in the database, going to send us an email. All right, so let me now log in. Says my Gmail. All right, so we got the email here, and here is our token. All right, and then you see the year is auto generated for us right now. The year demo, to reset your password, copy the token below and paste it in the form. If we open this form now, okay, so you're going to see we only have new password and confirm password, meaning that we need to add a feed for the token, and also we need to add one more feed for the user's email. Let's go ahead and do that now.